Hello, it's Rani Yoga Devi, and I'm coming to you from my home in Leamington. And today I have been asked to speak about makeup because everybody seems to like my makeup. I've had so many comments on my makeup, not just in person, but online. In any post I've ever done, I'll get at least one or two comments. Um, Whether it's a Facebook post or a post on YouTube or whatever. If I've ever put a picture of myself, someone's always commented on my makeup. And people like my makeup because it's done tastefully, it's not overdone. Very rarely do I do a really dramatic look. Um, um, Partly because my eyes are sensitive. I don't do anything big drama on my eyes because if one of my eyes waters and I've done something big and dramatic, I don't want to have to carry around eyeliners and makeup and all that sort of stuff to touch up. I just don't want to do that. Your makeup look you should be able to put it on in the morning and not have to touch it up until maybe if you're going to go out at night, you might have to touch it up, especially in the summertime where it's a little warmer and you might sweat some of it off. You might even want to wash it off and start all over again in the evening if you're going somewhere really special, if you've got a really special situation happening. But anyhow, today I have used the makeup that I pretty much usually use. I sometimes use a little bit more bronzer than I have today. I've used more blush today than bronzer. So that's a start. I know this is going to be really boring for the men. But I think it's nice for men to have an understanding of what it is that women are doing when they're putting their makeup on. Whether you have a little area in your bedroom to do your makeup or you do it in the bathroom, it doesn't matter. The main thing is to have all the right equipment to do your makeup. And the first and most important thing before you even think about your makeup is to properly cleanse your face and to take care of your skin on a regular basis. My mother is an esthetician and also a makeup artist who studied with George Abbott, who was a very well-known makeup artist in his day. He's passed on now. And there aren't makeup artists like him anymore. Maybe the closest you could get would be a makeup artist who works in the theater. Like really well trained. And maybe Jacques Pelletier. Jacques Pelletier, I think he's still working. He's in Quebec, and he is a good friend of my mom's, and he was a wonderful makeup artist. I'm not sure if he's still working. He may have retired at this point. I don't know. It's hard to retire, though, if you love what you do, and I know he loves what he does, and my parents love what they do, and they see no time at which point they will retire. Dad's 83 and Mom is in her 70s, and I won't tell you her age because she doesn't like to divulge her age. So there you go. So next thing, good skincare consists of a cleanser, a toner, and a moisturizer at minimum. You should also be using an eye cream, and if you can afford it, a night cream, and occasionally a mask. And you can consult an esthetician in your area. And if you don't have access to an esthetician, quite often places where you can buy skincare have a cosmetologist who may have some education. Just be aware that they will push the product line that they are going to get gifts from for selling, and they will push the more expensive lines over the more moderate lines. So be aware that there are different price points. Let them know what your price points are. Let them know you want an economical line of good quality if that's what you want. If you want a prestige line, let them know my money is no object, I want the best, then that's what you'll get. But just having an expensive product doesn't mean it's the right product for you or that it's the best. because I know from my own experience, the eye pencils are all made in the same factories. The lip pencils are all made in the same factory. The blushes are all made in the same factory. And they might have a little bit more ingredients, less ingredients, more fragrance, no fragrance. And those are the kind of things that you need to be asking when you're buying your products, especially if you're sensitive. You may want a hypoallergenic line, but you need to kind of know what you need when you walk into a store so that you get what you need. You can't get what you need if you don't know what you need, basically. So the next thing we want to talk about is, prior to applying your makeup, you want to have a good base of moisture on your skin, but you want it to have dried into the skin a little bit, but yet not be fully, you want it absorbed, but you want a little tiny bit extra. So you do not want to overdo your moisturizing cream, and you don't want to underdo it. You really want to have a good amount of moisturizing cream. And don't forget your neck. Your neck also needs to be moisturized, and it also should have a little bit of foundation on it, because you will, especially in the summer, have to have some coverage on the neck so that you don't end up with a funny tan that starts in the neck when you take your makeup off. You don't want that. You don't want your face to be white, and then your neck to be burnt. And that will also cause your neck to age a little bit more. So don't forget your neck all the time in terms of your skincare, and also in terms of massaging your face. When you put your cream on, you want to also massage the neck as well as the face. Okay, so I'm getting into a little bit more than you might want to know about, but that is all very, very important as well. So before you start putting on any makeup whatsoever, you want to invest in a set of good brushes. And if you can, you would probably be well advised to get yourself, I'm just going to put something over to the side here, lipstick over the side, mascara and concealer, because I'm going to talk about those later. You really want to get yourself a good brush kit. Mine really needs to be washed quite badly. I've brushed. I find it's very important to wash your brushes on a regular basis, but it's almost impossible to wash your brush kit. The only way you can really wash it is with alcohol, and I actually recommend using something like vodka to, like, on a cloth to wipe it down. I need to do mine, like really need to do mine. So here's my brush kit. This is a really simple brush kit. It has this is a powder foundation brush. This brush is not useful anymore because they stopped making the heads for this. This is was an applicator, an eye makeup applicator. I buy smaller ones now and use them, and I'm hoping that one day they'll bring back these applicators, the line that I brought. This one is from Quo, which is a line that Shoppers Drug Mart used to make, and I don't believe they make it anymore, which is why I haven't been able to get a new one. Too bad, because I really liked it. This, I'll just flatten it out a little bit so you can see the shape of it. I'll bring it into the camera. This is an eyebrow brush. So if you're applying a powder eyebrow makeup, this is the brush to do it. You do need the right brush, because if you don't have the right brush, you end up with too much eyebrow makeup on and you look like a clown. So you can also, nobody wants to look like a clown. You can also use a pencil instead. Today I have used a pencil, not powder. You also want to have two different shape eye makeup brushes. These are from J and Iredale. You want a brush that will go into the crease, that will do this area. And that's the shape of the crease brush. I love that brush. It's my favorite brush. And this one I really like too. This one This one is a shading brush. And this one, I like to use it. I can't see myself now. My video is gone. I like to use that here for a little bit if I want to add a bit of darker. I didn't do that today because it's summertime. I'm going to be going outside to do some things today. I generally do not put a lot of makeup here in the summer or during allergy season, because if your eyes water and it moves or cakes, and the caking isn't your makeup, the caking is the salt that accumulates underneath of your makeup and that pops it off. So you're going to be really careful if your eyes water not to use a makeup that's going to go into the eyes at all. That's why using a really good product is extremely important. So the next brush that is a very important brush to have is an eyeliner brush. So if you can't find a really good eyeliner pencil to use, or if you want to like go for a more dramatic look, I didn't today, you can use a brush like this, and you can use your darkest eyeshadow and just wet it and draw a line if you don't have an eye pencil. And let me put that back where it was so I don't lose track of it. A small blusher brush, which can be thrown on the floor, but it can also be used to do a contour of your face. So a contour would be the darker color under here. You can use a darker blush, or you can use a specific contour makeup. In the winter time, we tend to use more contouring because we don't have much color in our faces. If you're a fair person, I'm pretty fair, so I prefer to have a bit of contour, especially in the winter. A lipstick brush. This one has some red on it, and you want to clean these quite regularly. This one is not an ideal design. I have another one that's a better design that just pops up from behind, and that one is from Jane Iredale. I don't put it in my makeup bag. I keep it in my bathroom because I'm using it there more often than I'm using the lipstick brush. I don't use the lipstick brush all that often because I'm using, a lot of the times I'm using a lipstick that has an actual applicator in it, or a lip stain type of a product. But when I'm using an actual lipstick, I do want to have a good brush. It's important. Eyebrow brush, and that's for like just shaping your brows. I'm not going to do it right now because my brows are already shaped. But this one is an older one. This is from it's wooden, which is a real nice quality. And most of my brushes are wooden. I prefer a wooden brush. The metal ones are not as good. All the ones that I've shown you so far are wooden. The eyebrow brush helps you to shape your brows into the shape that they're supposed to be, and makes them look more natural. And if you have put any brow makeup on, it sort of evens everything out so it looks natural. And then I have a brush that I use. Sometimes I use this one not for contour, but for more like a bronzing powder. I did not do any bronzing powder today, but this one is for that. And this one is from Guerlain, a line that I used to work for. It's a wooden brush that is painted, but the paint comes off. So it's better to get a brush that it hasn't got too much paint on it. You want a brush that, like these ones have, this one's wooden, it's from Quo as well, but it's not it's painted, but it's a thin layer of paint. Guerlain made too thick of a layer of paint over top of these brushes. But this brush is 20 years old from when Guerlain launched terracotta, and if you have ever used that product, you know how long that's been. That's been like 30 years, so it's old. And your brushes should last you a while. This one is an eye pencil with a brush on it, and I really like this one. They're kind of hard to find nowadays. This one is from Essence. It's got a pencil on one side, and on the other side it's got a blender, which is really handy, especially when you're traveling, to just be able to blend it so that it's a soft line as opposed to a very strong, dramatic line. I prefer a softer line as opposed to a big drama line. And then I have a blush brush. Personally, I think this blush brush is too big. Trying to find a smaller one. Somewhere between this and this is a nice brush size for color. So this one is from Quo Beauty, and I bought this, I think, last year. It's a nice brush, but it's too big. I end up having to go like this when I use it because it is too big. Might be okay for someone with a larger face, but I've got a pretty small face. So there's those important tools that you really need to have. A good set of brushes is incredibly important before you even think about putting makeup on. Get yourself a good set of brushes. Have a consultation with somebody to find out what brushes you need for the look that you want to create for yourself as well. I think that's really important. And then the final things that you need are going to be, before you start putting your foundation on, concealer. This one is from Revlon. It's a Color Stay line, and it's a 5-in-1 concealer. I don't usually talk too much about products, but this one is really, really nice because you can use it for under the eyes. It's the only place I usually need it. But I had a bug bite me just a couple days ago right here, and you can't see it. I haven't put any makeup on it today, but the first few days it was quite red and angry, and I did need to put concealer on it. I was going to go anywhere. You need a good mascara. And I like to use two mascaras. I like to use a clear mascara as well as a waterproof mascara. So I put a clear mascara on first, and the one that I like is Maybelline. It's great lash, it's clear, it's inexpensive, and it works very, very well. I think it's the only brand that I've seen recently that isn't a high-level prestige brand that actually makes it clear. So that's one that I recommend. And then this is CoverGirl. It's called Lash Blast, and I really like it. It gives a little bit of volume and a little bit of length. I don't care about having great big lashes from God. I want to look natural. I don't want to look like I've got fake eyelashes on. I don't like that look at all. But a lot of young people really do love it, and it's their choice. And it's a nice look for a young person, but I don't think it's nice on somebody who's over 50. It just looks too much. And so another thing that I do when I buy mascaras in particular, because you really shouldn't keep them for too long, 3 months they recommend you get rid of your mascaras. And so mine are dated. These most recent ones were purchased on June 4th. And so I actually take a permanent marker and put the date on my mascaras, and then I've done the same thing with my Great Lash. You might have to replenish that because it will rub off sometimes, because when you're doing your makeup, you get oils on your hands and blah, blah, blah. A good lipstick is really important too. This is the lipstick that I do use, and when I do use a lipstick, this is from Dr. Rani, which was a wonderful brand that Jacques Pelletier, the makeup artist I mentioned before, had a hand in creating. It was a beautiful line, and I just have a few things left of it. They haven't made it in a long, long time, so you won't find it. You won't find it. But a nice red is important to have for special occasions in particular, and a really good brush. Not a really good brush, yes, we already talked about that. But a really good pencil is also very important. This one is my favorite red. It's just called Red with 2 Ds, and it's from MAC. which is a brand that is a Canadian brand, which is made, I believe, in Italy. So it's a really nice brand, and I like it because they give you a nice long pencil that lasts a good long time, and they're easy to sharpen because it's real wood. It isn't those horrible plastic pencils that L'Oreal and Revlon are, and all the other brands, not all of them, but a lot of the brands out there are making these plastic pencils, and they don't sharpen well. What happens is the lead inside dries up away from the pencil itself, and then it's falling out and it's breaking and it's obnoxious, and you end up paying for a pencil that you can't use. Essentially, you're doing your eye and it goes, breaks, lining your lips, and it breaks and falls on the floor or goes into your sink. And boy, that's obnoxious. Companies, stop with the plastic pencils. Stop it. Just stop it. They're just horrible. I know that environmentalists are going to go, ah! But the reality is, if you want a good pencil, it needs to be a pencil, and pencils aren't made out of plastic. If you've got like a pencil that you're writing with that's got one of those press up things in it, that's a total different story. But even those leads break very, very easily. You have to be very careful with them. Anyhow, I prefer the actual pencil because it gets a better result, can be sharpened better, and you've got all the different angles. On a real pencil, grab my brown one that I use on my eyes. You can use any color you like, but this one I really, really like because it's quite natural. You can buy a darker one for more drama or whatever, but this one is a nice brown. And I bought this one recently to replace an older one. This is it's iCool, and it's called Costa Riche. And it also comes from MAC, which is a really, really good line for eye pencils. They also make some really good eyeshadows and things like that, but they're not hypoallergenic, so some of the eyeshadows in different colors, especially purples, are very they can be irritating. Not very irritating. They can be irritating for people who have sensitive skin, like myself. So I stay away from crazy colors around my eyes unless it's from a brand that makes hypoallergenic products. So basic makeup requires good products, good brushes, good pencils, because you put the pencil on before you put on the color. In terms of your lips, you put the pencil on after, once you do your eyes. Your eyes don't require an awful lot. A lot of people put way too much eye makeup on, and it takes away from your eyes themselves. So you really only need 2 colors for your eyes. You can do 3, you can do more, you can add more if you want, but just for a basic makeup, you only need to have 1 color that you put here and another color that you put under your brows. Of course, that has to be kind of like a color that looks nice, light, lifts the brow a little bit, and you want a neutral color for you. For me, and this is a light brown, and I like that look for every day. Just a nice light eye. Your liner doesn't need to be all the way across the eye. Some people do that, and that is great for somebody with a great big eye, but I have small eyes, so I find that it's better to just start about here and go across and a little bit on the bottom. But if you start lining your whole eye, it will make your eye look smaller if it's already small. And my one eye is a little smaller than the other, and so I have to really be careful that they both match up, and I'm not alone in that. Other people also deal with that, so it's really important to, when you've done your makeup, make sure that it matches one side to the other. Not not always that it's done exactly the same. You might have to do it a little bit different on one side so that both eyes look even. And that's a pretty good tip as well. So good products make a difference. Quality does make a difference, but that doesn't mean you need to go top of line, most expensive. You don't need to buy a prestige brand, but do shop around for a brand that meets your needs. You can wear a foundation product, or you can use a tinted moisturizer and then powder over that and put your makeup on if you want a very natural look, and if your skin tone is even when you do that. If not, then you probably want to use foundation all over the face. This time of year, I prefer to use a Jane Iredale foundation, which is a powder foundation, and all I do is use that powder foundation brush and put a light coating of it on my skin, and that affords me protection from the sun, so I don't have to worry about getting a whole bunch of freckles and age spots on my face. And that is extremely important if you're a fair-skinned person. And even for a dark-skinned person, if you're going to be out in the sun very much, you don't want to get that ashy skin tone that comes when your skin gets burnt. Nobody wants to burn their skin. I don't care what color your skin is. If you damage your skin in the sun, it's damaged for life, and those spots will always come back. So it's very important, and particularly women when they're pregnant and during certain hormonal stages should be particularly careful to have something that protects the skin from the sun on the face. Sometimes you can use a cream that does that. Sometimes that is in your foundation, and if you are particularly sensitive, you may even want to do both. A cream that has a little bit of an SPF in it. They're harder to find now. They used to be easy to find. There used to be one by Lubriderm for the body that was a wonderful moisturizer, but also had an SPF in it, and that was lovely. And a lot of people don't want to apply a sunscreen to their body because they have a terrible texture. For the face, they have worked a little bit more on making the texture nice enough that you can apply makeup after putting that on your face. So foundation or tinted moisturizer. We've talked about being able to use blush in 2 tones, one that helps to contour, and then another one that provides you the color that you're looking for. You don't just want to put it in like blush here and here. You want to put the blush on and blend it down a little bit, and sorry, the darker color, blend it down a little bit to help provide contour. And the blush on your cheeks, you want to blend it up a little bit so that it looks natural on your face. You'll see that from the side. It's not just like a big blob across my cheeks. If you put a big blob across your cheeks, it doesn't look natural at all. If you blend it up a little bit, don't use much. Don't use too much makeup. Too much makeup makes you look like a clown, both in the eyes, in the cheeks, and in the lips. You don't want too much makeup. Skillfully applied makeup is not as easy as people think it is. So it doesn't hurt to get a lesson from a makeup artist, particularly if you're getting married or have some special event coming up. That's a great time to book an appointment with a makeup artist. And if that makeup artist is also an esthetician, all the better, because she'll make sure that your skin is well prepared to accept the makeup well, to be a beautiful palette on which to place those colors. Eyeshadows, we talked about. Eyeliner, we talked about. Brow makeup, we talked about. Mascara, I think we did talk about mascara as well. Lip liner is very important, and some people are not fans of lipstick, and I get it, but it's not a bad idea to put a lip liner on a very light neutral color, very close to the color of your lips, and then put a lip moisturizer on. I don't care if you use lip seal, but you need you need to moisturize your lips so that your lips don't look dry or feel dry. So I prefer a lipstick or a lip gloss with a liner. But sometimes I'll just use a lip moisturizer. Where did I put that product? Thought I put it back over here. No, I guess I didn't put it back over here when I had it out. I put it away. Oh, yeah, I did. I put it away. There is a moisturizer that is really, really fabulous for the lips, and I can't remember the brand. Can't remember the brand name, but you get it at Shoppers Drug Mart, and it is, it's just like in a tube, like lip seal kind of thing. You take the lid off and turn it up a little bit, and it's got just a little bit of color. And for somebody who's lipstick averse, that is a really good option. And I guess that is about all. Setting your makeup is the other thing. After you've done your makeup, you can put powder over top if you want to, depending on the quality of the product that you use. I don't have to put powder on top of my makeup because the quality of the product that I use does not require that. But most products do require that you put a little bit of powder over top. The problem with that is that it can leave your face looking dry. So, especially as you get older, like I'm nearly 60. And at nearly 60, I do not want to look nearly 60. Because put makeup on, in certain places of your face, it can make you look like you have wrinkles where you really don't have them. Because you're adding another layer on top of your skin, and smile lines can be accentuated around the eyes and around the mouth. So it's important to choose products that aren't going to do that, and also to maybe finish that makeup off by spraying some moisture onto your face. They're not easy products to find. We have one at Jane Iredale, which is called D2O. And it's fantastic. It's a small bottle, and you buy a refill for it. So you refill the small bottle that you carry around, and you simply spray your face with it once you're all done your makeup, and that helps to set the makeup, and it stays put, looks natural, takes any little bit of dryness away, and it just makes your face look more natural. And that is important. You want your makeup to look natural. I mean, yeah, I didn't wake up with this color lips, and I didn't wake up with the brown on, but that's not the point. My point is the colors should be colors that suit your face and not too dark for an everyday makeup. If you want to go fancier for a special occasion, that's another story. But for everyday makeup, you really do want to look like I woke up this way, sort of. I'm teasing, but you do not want to look like a painted doll. You do not want to look like a clown. You want to look as natural as possible, despite the fact that you're using makeup to do so. And women have always done that. So even if you go way back to ancient times, women used things that were nowhere near as good for our skin as what they did historically. Historically, they put lead on their skin, like powders that had lead in them, and they didn't know what lead could do, but it caused all kinds of terrible things to the skin. If you look through the history of makeup, there are some pretty scary things that women used to do to their faces. And oh, before I go, I wanted to show you my hair. My dad did it. You can't really see it that well unless I turn my head around. There's the back of it and the sides. got some little decoration on there on this side. My dad did a really good job on it. I like my hair up a little bit in the summertime to keep it off. It's long. It's about down to here right now, and I just cut it not that long ago. It's nicely layered. You've seen it fairly recently, but it grows a lot faster in the summertime. And in the summertime, it gets hot, and if you're going somewhere out in the evening and you're dancing and things like that, especially if you're doing so outside or in somewhere where the air condition is sketchy, you're gonna get quite warm through here and your hair's gonna get all wet, and ugh. It's better to put it up for the summer. Anyhow, if you have any more questions, any other concerns about makeup or skincare, feel free to pop me a message in the comments below. And if you have another topic you would like me to discuss, I'm happy to do that as well. Pop me a line, pop me a comment. If you're on my Facebook or my LinkedIn, you can send me a message there. Or if you just want to pop a message right here on the YouTube, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Thank you so much. Take care and have a wonderful weekend. It is Friday, June 28th, and it is 4:10 p.m. I am doing this earlier than I usually do. I usually do it late at night after I get home on Friday. So today, I thought I'd do it a little earlier. Thanks so much again. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend and look forward to your comments. Bye-bye for now. Rani Devi, signing off.